The settlement of New Terra had seen many strange things since humanity established its first colony in the Andromeda sector. But nothing quite prepared the locals for the sight of Nigel Hartwell pushing a wheelchair down Main Street with a 3-ton dragon perched precariously on it. Left turn coming up. Grandmother Scales, Nigel announced cheerfully, maneuvering the reinforced mobility device around the corner. The dragon, whose actual name was something unpronounceable, that translated roughly to "she who burns the ancient stars," let out a contented rumble that rattled the windows of nearby shops. "You were too kind." Smallfather, the dragon, wheezed, her once magnificent scales now dulled with age, some hanging loose like forgotten armor. "Your hatchling must wonder why you waste time with old lizard." Nigel smiled, adjusting the thermal blanket across her haunches. "Anna doesn't think it's a waste. She helped me reinforce this wheelchair, actually. Engineering project for school. It had started 6 months ago when Nigel found Grandmother Scales collapsed in the alley behind his repair shop. The proud Draconian elder had been abandoned by her fleeter, common practice among her species when age rendered a dragon unable to contribute to the horde. Nigel, a widower raising 80-year-old Anna alone, couldn't stomach the idea of leaving anyone to die in an alley, regardless of how many tons they weighed or how many galactic conflicts their species had started. So he'd called in favors, used every engineering trick he knew, and built her a place to stay in his warehouse. Anna had taken to calling her Grandma Scales within a week. "Papa." Anna's voice cut through the marketplace chatter. She came running, her dark hair flying behind her, tablet clutched in one hand. "Grandma Scales, you'll never believe what happened." The dragon's ancient eyes, still sharp despite her physical decline, focused on the child with unusual warmth. Dragons weren't known for affection, but Anna had somehow bypassed millions of years of evolutionary emotional suppression. "Tell grandmother, little spark. I entered the Galactic Youth Science Fair with my wheelchair design, the one I made for you, and it got accepted. They want me to present it at the Coalition Station next month." Nigel felt his chest swell with pride, but Grandmother Scales went very still. "The Coalition Station," she repeated slowly. "The High Council will be there." "Well, yeah," Anna said, confused by the dragon's sudden tension. "It's a big deal. Representatives from all the member species attend." That's when the sky darkened. 6 ships descended on New Terra with the kind of precision that suggested military training. They landed in perfect formation around the marketplace, and Nigel instinctively stepped in front of both Anna and Grandmother. Scales, wheelchair. The ships bore the insignia of the Draconian Empire, a symbol most humans associated with the brutal war that had ended only a decade ago. From the lead vessel emerged 6 dragons in full battle armor, flanking 2 figures in the elaborate robes of Draconian legal advocates. The marketplace had gone deathly silent. "We seek she who burns the ancient stars," the lead lawyer announced, their voice carrying the harmonics of formal high draconic. "We have tracked her residual heat signature to this location." Nigel felt Grandmother Scales tremble behind him, but he stood his ground. "State your business." The lawyer's eyes narrowed at his audacity. Humans were still considered upstarts in the galactic community, barely worthy of notice. "This does not concern you, mammal. Step aside." "Everything concerning Grandmother Scales concerns me," Nigel said flatly. "I'm her legal guardian and primary caretaker, so I'll ask again, state your business." The marketplace gasped. The concept of a human claiming guardianship over a Draconian elder was unheard of, possibly sacrilegious. The second lawyer stepped forward, their scales bearing the iridescent sheen of the imperial court. She who burns the ancient stars stands accused of abandoning her horde, violating sacred duty and bringing shame to her flight. We have come to render final judgment. On what authority? Anna's young voice rang out clear and defiant. She'd stepped up beside her father, tablet still clutched in her hand. The lawyer looked down at her with something approaching amusement. The authority of 3,000 years of Draconian law, hatchling. Oh good, Anna said, her fingers flying across her tablet. Then you'll be interested in subsection 12 of the Treaty of New Harmony, signed by the Draconian Empire and the Human Coalition 10 years ago. She turned the tablet to show them. It clearly states that any being residing on a human-administered world for more than 90 days gains the option of choosing which legal system applies to their person. Grandma Scales has been with us for 6 months. The lawyers exchanged glances. One pulled out their own device, mandibles working silently as they verified the information. The hatchling is correct, the first lawyer admitted reluctantly. Which means, Nigel continued, picking up where his daughter left off, that you have no jurisdiction here. Grandmother Scales is under human protection. If you want to challenge that, you'll need to go through proper diplomatic channels, which, according to Article 7 of the same treaty, could take anywhere from 6 to 18 months. Grandmother Scales made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. You studied treaty law, for me. Anna did, Nigel admitted. She's been working on it since the science fair acceptance came through. She figured someone might object to a human using Draconian-assisted technology. The young girl shrugged. I also filed for a patent in all coalition territories. Grandma Scales is listed as co-designer, which means she has intellectual property rights that survive any legal proceedings against her. The royalties alone should be enough to establish her own horde if she wants one. The lawyers stood in stunned silence. Dragons prided themselves on their cunning, their ability to find loopholes and exploit technicalities. To be outmaneuvered by a human child and her working-class father was unthinkable. Finally, the second lawyer bowed a gesture of respect rarely shown to any non-dragon. The law is the law. We shall return to the Empire and report that she who burns the ancient stars has secured her position through legitimate means. They paused. The High Council will wish to know who represented her so effectively. Just family looking out for family, Nigel said simply, as the ships lifted off. Grandmother Scales wept something most scholars believed dragons incapable of. Anna climbed up onto the wheelchair's reinforced frame and hugged what she could reach of the ancient dragon's neck. See, Grandma, the little girl said. I told you we'd figure it out. That's what humans do, we take care of our own. The dragon's rumble shook the ground, but this time it carried a sound unfamiliar to most who heard it. Joy, perhaps. Grandmother Scales said softly, the old stories were wrong. Perhaps the most fearsome thing about humans is not their weapons or their wars, but their inexplicable refusal to abandon those they love. Nigel smiled and began pushing the wheelchair toward home. Come on, you two. Anna's got a science fair to prepare for, and I promised to make my famous synthetic protein casserole for dinner. Your cooking may yet be what kills me. Small father, Grandmother Scales grumbled, but there was warmth in her voice. As they disappeared down Main Street, a single human father, his brilliant daughter, and an elderly dragonhood finally found her true horde. The marketplace slowly returned to life. People whispering about what they'd witnessed. The galaxy would learn in time. What that dragon had discovered, humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their stubborn, inexplicable, absolutely unbreakable loyalty to those they called family, regardless of species, status, or sense.